There's so many ways for you to show up online, profit, and make an impact with your business. That's what the Heart-Centered Business Success Show is all about. Inspiring you with stories of generous women and equipping you with real strategies to help your business succeed, because I know you've got a powerful gift to share. Thanks for tuning into the show. Hello, I'm here with Brianna Wilkerson, who is a holistic health and life coach. And Brianna, just so excited to connect with you and hear more about your business.
Hey, yeah, it's so great to be here. Thanks for having me, Anna.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about your business and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm a holistic health and life coach, and my heart is really just especially to empower women to be healthy and thrive in all areas of their life. So I started out as mainly a health coach for the physical health area, but in my experience, in my journey, as well as my clients, those first few clients, that's where we began, but that's not where we ended. We started to look at many other areas of their life and saw how that impacted their physical health. And so I just started to expand my business to include, areas such as emotional, mental, and even vocational and financial health, because that causes people a lot of stress. And so, so that's why some people may come to me just for help with their nutrition or exercise. Some come with help with financial health. So just here to help women be better and live the lives that they long for and deserve.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. So take us back to like the very beginning, to when you started your health coaching journey. What did that look like, and how did you connect with your first client?
So at that point, I had just gone through a lot in my own health, and I was kind of on the victorious side. I had struggled for so many years with different eating disorders and exercise. And just when I started to look at my own journey and saw how holistic health was a part of it, I just wanted to share the little things I've learned along the way. So I started blogging, and it was not a good blog. It was, I don't even know what was on it. I don't know if I had pictures, but I just really had a heart to share. And so people just started following my blog. And then eventually when I was halfway through my health coaching certification, you could start seeing clients. I didn't wait. I just was like, okay, I'm not perfect, but I'm going to go try. And a friend reached out very quickly once I said I had a spot open, and I got a first client through that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. So,
and would you say that that's like the same way you find clients now, or how do you find and connect with your clients in your business today?
I think for me, I have a very unique opportunity. Where I'm from is such a small island, and because of the different roles I've taken, I'm very established kind of in the community. So in-person relationships is definitely where I've seen that I need to be spending a lot more time with, and it just comes more easily. But I definitely use online to cultivate those relationships, as well as reach out to more people through that. And the relationship just takes a little longer to build then, so I think I know that. But yeah, I think I struggled. I wanted to do all things and reach people through my blog, through Instagram, through Twitter, and all those things. But I just recognized that that's not where my clients were coming from. So I'm just trying to be more strategic in where I'm reaching out to people and spending my time.
I love that. I love that you're intentional about cultivating the relationship online in like a leveraged way, but also like using like some of the amazing platforms you have in your own community. And can you tell us a little bit about just how you've also been intentional to capitalize on them or seek out those connections in your community?
Yeah. So I think definitely being very intentional when you meet someone at a certain event and you click really well, to kind of just say, hey, would you like to explore a possibility of doing something that is very mutual, that we both are passionate about together. And rather than letting that thought be just kind of like, oh yeah, sure, I say, okay, now when are we going to talk about it? And kind of put some action into motion. And also just a recent leadership award I was given, I've kind of been given the opportunity to kind of, invest more in that leadership organization. And I just saw that how it's so much in line with what I do as a life coach anyways. And so kind of just said yes to that. And that kind of just came to me by me being consistent in my message, and also just being present where I was, right? So
I love that. I love too how you have, just because we know each other, I love how you've shown up, and a lot of people might you know, be active in their community or make those connections. But I love how you're also intentional about making that turn into good business for you, right? Like connecting and serving the right people that you're connecting with in a way that's super heart-centered, right? Just like extending that invitation. Like, for what advice would you give to someone who maybe is present in their community or tied in, but is struggling with, can I really also feel supported financially serving?
I think personally for me, I actually don't do a lot of collaborations with people I don't have a relationship with when I started to think about that.
Yeah.
And so it's really just an extension of our friendship and our mutual like love, and just really asking, hey, would you like to do a free workshop together? Would you like to do a paid workshop together? And you'd be so surprised how many people would say yes. Just recently this past weekend, I just offered it and this person was so excited. And so I think it's just being brave enough just to ask. And the worst thing they can say is no, but you don't know the potential opportunities you're missing out on that are right in front of you. You know, something I talk about with some clients too is low hanging fruit. We're trying to get the fruit up top of the tree when there's fruit we can just grab. And so start with the people and the connections you have, I think is the best place to start.
I love that. And what I know for me too, like a lot of my fear in the beginning was like seeing sales tactics that felt cold-hearted or spammy, right? So like doing the opposite and not selling at all, right? So what would you say to someone who was like me, that was like, how do I do that? How do I connect and offer? Like, I believe in the service I offer, right? Like I believe in the health coaching I do, but I also don't want to like manipulate or scam or sell my health coaching to someone that may not need it.
Well, then I definitely think the thing is understanding that all you're really doing is inviting people. And that's kind of how I framed it. It's like, if I can just invite, because sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they don't know you have a spot available. Sometimes they don't know or wouldn't be brave enough to approach you. So it's you just taking that bold risk and saying, hey, I have a spot open. Is that something you would be interested in? Having a discovery session, then actually seeing if you're fit together. If not, you just being bold enough to say, I actually don't have the expertise you need, but you're never going to know unless you ask. And so I think a lot of work for me too, and it doesn't get any easier sometimes. Sometimes I have to keep building up my guts to ask, but it always turns out better than not asking at all. So yeah.
So beautiful. So that ties so well into the second question, which is, what has been or is your biggest #heart-centered problem or thing, because you're a heart-centered business owner, that you struggle with? And then what affirmation or what heart-centered truth do you tell yourself to fight it?
Well, I think the struggle around just feeling like, am I doing enough in my business? Am I in the right groups on Facebook? Am I in the right groups locally? Am I posting to Instagram enough? Like just all these things, but not only the action, but like, is who I am enough? Do I actually have what it takes to help this person with this particular condition? And I faced that like a couple weeks ago, and having to, break through that limitation and actually own it. And then, yeah, I'm meeting with someone today around it. And so I think for me, I just had to take a step back and actually tell myself, do you have what it takes? Yes, you do, because all I'm doing is creating a space for them to really actually own what's inside of them. It's not my job to change them. It's not my job to, offer them 100 pieces of advice, because they really don't need 100 pieces of advice. It's just to create a space where they feel safe, supported, and empowered to kind of make the changes they need to make. So often for me, it's just telling myself who I am is valuable, and what I do and who I am is enough, and kind of repeating that over and over until I believe it's true. So,
which is so powerful, because I feel like so many women come to me and that they say what, like the opposite of what you said, which is like, I feel unqualified. Like I don't feel qualified, or I'm not perfect at what I do, right? Like if I'm health coaching, I'm not perfect at my own health. Like I'm working on it, but I'm not, if I'm a coach for, I'm a sleep coach, my kids don't always sleep great all the time, right? Like
yeah.
I'm not a perfect human. And so I love that affirmation for someone that's struggling with that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, and it's hard to sometimes believe it. So it's even framing it in such a way where you say, I'm going to believe this, or you're maybe you're not there yet. But I think the issue is we're constantly speaking negative, deconstructive things over our lives, and so our brain, the frequency of that we start to believe it. And so once you start changing that, you change the frequency and you actually elicit more positive feelings towards yourself. And so it's practicing that.
Beautiful. If there's someone who's watching who is struggling with their health, let's say they are struggling with their health, what would you say is an affirmation that you find a lot of that would be helpful for people that are just starting their healthy living journey?
I think something along the lines of, it's not about perfection, but about progress, and how even the best of the best, and even the best looking, whatever, quote unquote, health coaches or fitness coaches are still on a journey. It doesn't stop. Like for me, I constantly have to refine myself. I constantly have to go back to the basics. And it's always just reminding myself that I'm one step ahead than I was yesterday. And even if I feel like I went back, I'm still choosing to move forward. And that wasn't always my case in my life. So I think for them, just really celebrating each individual step that they're taking as worth it. Drinking more water is still worth celebrating, right? So.
And how does that spill into someone that is needing support in their purpose or in their finances?
I think for them, it's just understanding that they're not alone, for one, like in searching for their purpose, in searching how to better manage their finances. Because when you really talk to people, people are struggling with it. I think it's something that we often say, like, oh, this person has it all together financially. Oh, look at their career. But they could be unhappy and they could be struggling to save and all these things. So it's taking off the facade that everyone's perfect and really just asking yourself, like, okay, if I want to make a change, what step do I need to take? And rather than comparing to other people. So I think it's just understanding that you're actually not as alone as you think you are.
It's great advice. So people are watching this and they're resonating with you and they're like, yes, I need support in my health. Or maybe I'm feeling great about my health now and I'm ready to just find more purpose or get stable in my finances or an area like that. How can they find you? And do you have any resources to get them started?
Yeah, I would definitely say go to my website, madewell345.com/free resource/free resources, because I think that is where you're going to see which Facebook groups that I have that you can join, what freebies, what trainings, as well as I recently came out with a podcast that is all about being healthy and thriving your whole life. And so all of that's there on that free resources page, and you can get in contact with me through there.
Beautiful. Tell us the story really quickly too before we leave about the name of your website.
Oh yeah. So Madewell is based off of John 5:5, where it's biblical passage where Jesus goes to the man who's been invalid or crippled for 38 years and asks him, do you want to be made well? And the man's like, yeah, of course. And I just felt like in my case, that was God asking me, like, you struggled for a long time, but do you actually want to be made well? And are you willing to take the steps necessary? And for me to finally surrender and say yes, that's when things shifted. It wasn't like instant. It took a while, maybe not as like instant as his healing, but I haven't gone back since, right? So yeah.
So beautiful. Well, thank you for being on here. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you, Brianna.
You're welcome. Thank you.